Hello children, welcome to your English preparatory classes. Children, these classes will help you polish your English speaking, writing, reading and listening skills and also a little bit of grammar. Are you ready for today's class? Shall we begin? We're going to start today's class with a short and interesting story. It is a story called I Found a Frog. Shall we go ahead and read the story? Come on. I found a frog. Even though I have children of my own, it seems like it was only yesterday when I returned home from school to find a frog in my bedroom. My mother just chuckled when I yelled out, I found a frog on my bed. Now, she knew that I would eventually find one, but she let me discover a wonder of nature that many people miss. I am glad she did. You see, a little earlier that spring, when I was 6 years old, I saw some little black fish in a pond. Since I didn't have any pets, I went home and asked my mother if I could have one. After we talked about my catching some of the fish I saw and the responsibility of having a pet, she agreed. She gave me a bowl, told me to go catch a few, and said that while I was out, she would prepare their new home. Off I went. There were so many that they were easy to catch. I filled the bowl and ran home. When I got home, my mother had an old fish bowl filled with water sitting on the corner of my desk. She asked to see the fish, looked, and with a big smile said, Tadpoles. Wow, you're in for a surprise. I asked what she meant, and she just said that I would have to wait and see, but to watch my fish carefully. After a few weeks, I noticed some were changing. Mom, I yelled with excitement. Come here, my fish are growing legs. She came into my room, looked, smiled and told me to keep watching. After several more weeks, there were more changes. Mom, I yelled with excitement. Come here, my fish are growing front legs and their tail is going away. She came into my room, looked, smiled and told me to keep watching. A week or so later, when I got up, I was amazed. There were more changes. My fish didn't have tails, their legs were bigger, and they didn't look like the little black fish I had caught earlier in the spring. Mom, I yelled with excitement. Come here, my fish are really different. She came into my room, looked, smiled, and told me that a surprise was very close. That day, when I returned home from school is when I yelled out, I found a frog on my bed. Surprise! Yelled Mom. You watched a miracle right before your eyes. A fish changed into a frog. Now you had better catch and take him and the other almost frogs back to the pond. I don't need 50 more surprises tomorrow morning. Off I went. Children, did you all like the story? Did you see what happened to the small black fish that the little boy caught from the pond? They turned into frogs. So they weren't small black fish, they were tadpoles, baby frogs. Children, you watched the pictures, you listened to me read the story. Now what you have to do is, you have to go back to the starting of the story and you have to read it yourself again. You have to go back to the starting of the story, play the video, hear me, read one sentence, pause the video and you have to read the same sentence out aloud. And then you have to play the video again, listen to me, read the next sentence, pause the video and read that sentence out aloud. Okay? This is how you're going to practice reading. Okay, children, I hope you've all finished reading the story out aloud once. Children, do you miss going to school and sitting in your classrooms? Shall we go into a classroom now? On the first day of school, your teacher asks your name, you introduce yourself, right? So let's do that now. I'm going to ask you a few questions. You have to give me your answers. Be ready with your pencil and paper and write down the answers to these questions. What is your name? What did you have for breakfast? Will you go out in the evening? Children, I'll give you my answers. My name is Lilly. I had rice for breakfast. I will not go out in the evening. Now, did you notice something, children? The first sentence, my name is Lilly, is in present tense. The second sentence, I had rice for breakfast, is in past tense. And the third sentence, I will not go out in the evening, is in future tense. So these are the 3 important tenses that we should know. Here are some more questions. How are you? Did you listen to the story? Will you read the story again? My answers. I am great. Yes, I listened to the story. Yes, I will read it again. So children, we use present tense when we speak about something that is happening in the present. We use past tense to talk about something that has happened. We use future tense to talk about something that will happen in the future. We shall look at these tenses in detail in the following classes. That's all for today, children. Thank you.